Hello spotters, we've crawled back into the GameSpot UK basement to start our mammoth build of the greatest gaming rig. Over the coming weeks we're going to be building the most ridiculously over-the-top gaming rig, the likes of which will make you the life of the LAN party.
This week we're going to pair the GEVGA SR-2 motherboard with two Intel Xeon X5680 processors and 24 gigs of Crucial's Ballistix RAM. So let's rip open some boxes and get to work.
Bam! And here it is, the motherboard plus the two processors and a whole 24 gigabytes of RAM, the heart of our gaming rig.
Okay, Mark, for someone who's never built or opened up a PC before, give us a tour of the motherboard. What's in there and why is this one special?
Okay, so, let's start over here. And there's a lot of special features about this motherboard. One of the really cool features is there's actually some voltage read points on here. So you can read the voltage that's being sent to the CPUs, as well as other components like the RAM, without actually having to use any software. Use like a little multimeter thing and you can read it, which is very, very cool. When you move down here, you can see that there's SATA ports. The two red ones are for the latest iteration of SATA, which gives you much faster speeds. Again, that's quite a rare occurrence on motherboards at the moment. Another extremely cool feature is this BIOS selector switch. Right. So what that means is a lot of overclockers will change the BIOS a lot and sometimes screw it up. What that means is you can just hit the switch and it will load up a previous backup of the BIOS. So you don't have to worry about messing things up, which is fantastic.
Neat.
Moving further along, we've got this amazing fan setup here, linked to all these heat sinks, which is the Northbridge chipset cooler, which is to keep things cool. We'll see how that performs when our graphics cards extend all the way over the top of it, we shall see. Moving further along again, there's a CMOS reset switch there. Also quite unique are the onboard power and reset switches. Now, with a lot of cheaper motherboards, you'd have to put it in a case, hook up the power switches and stuff, but here you can just use it on a test bench, which is going to be very useful for us. So just above our power and reset switches, we've got these lovely PCI Express slots. Now there's a lot of them, 7 in fact, and what's particularly cool about them is that we can run 4 of them at a full 16 speed, thanks to the board featuring 2 N-Force 2 PCI Express controllers. And that means we can run our graphics cards at super fast data transfer speeds all the time. Moving to the back here, we've got the usual PS2 keyboard connector. I'm not quite sure who uses those anymore, but there you go. And a couple of USB ports underneath that. To the left, we've got, to the right even, we've got another CMOS reset switch. Here we've got some USB 3.0 ports. Here we've got some eSATA ports, 2 gigabit Ethernet ports, and 4 USB ports, and finally the built-in 7.1 surround sound.
And now we've got the CPUs in here, and they're running at 3.33 gigahertz with hyperthreading for 24 cores of processing power, apparently. But someone, the Jammin, in fact, commented on the last video, Ruffle, they don't know Jack, HT doesn't give extra cores. Mark, defend your statement.
Okay, we know it doesn't actually give any extra physical cores, it gives virtualized cores in software. So when you do load up Windows, it will show 24 cores of processing power. It's a feature of these chips and is a feature of the Core i7 chips, as well as all the Core 2 Duos that were out a while ago. It does mean that software that is written for using multiple threads will work faster with hyperthreading. So 24 cores virtually, still pretty good.
There you go. Also, we've got these Xeons instead of Core i7s, which are no good for us, right?
They're no good. So for this motherboard, you have to use Xeons. These Xeons here are particularly special because they have a dual QPI link, which means that you can use 2 of them and they can talk to each other, which is something you can't do with the old Core i7, sadly.
The old Core i7.
Well, the old Core i7s, the ones that have just come out a couple of weeks ago.
Those ones. Okay, so next up are those 24 gigs of color-coordinated RAM here and here. And so they light up and do all kinds of all things. Explain the significance of DDR3.
Yes, these are, so we had to use DDR3 RAM for this motherboard. So the Core i7s and indeed these Xeons, they're all based on the same architecture and they require DDR3 RAM. The special thing about this motherboard is it can also take fully buffered RAM. Which we're not using because A, it's hideously expensive. I mean, really, really expensive.
Even for our taste.
Even for our taste, it's hideously expensive. And it's actually slightly slower than using unbuffered RAM. and we want fast for gaming here.
Yes, it's
and
really.
As you said, this RAM is particularly special. It's color coordinated. You know, we've got black and red in matching black and red slots for the people that do
Thought of everything.
think of everything, and they do light up. So in the top of this RAM is actually a strip of LEDs. So in the black one, you've got green LEDs, and in the red one, you've got red LEDs. Now, when the RAM is being accessed by the computer, it lights up and it flashes in loads of different ways, and it looks very, very cool.
Sweet.
So quite excited to try that out.
And commentator Dracos said of the last video that we should have gone with water cooling, not the all-in-one system we've got prepared. He said, not enough cooling in that rig, 4 graphics cards and 2 CPUs equals insane amount of heat. Should have gone water cooling the whole way. And why didn't we do that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons behind that. We could have done water cooling, you know. It's not too difficult. It's something, you know, we thought about and we could have implemented. However, it would have been an issue for shipping, because when you have a water cooling system, you have to drain it all before you send it off to people, to at least you should do really, to make sure that it arrives there safely. That also relies upon the fact that the winner, whoever wins this, is going to be pretty computer literate to be able to refill the system and make sure the air is kept out of there, etc., etc. Using the all-in-one kit, what we can do is just ship it off to someone. There's no danger of leakage and there's no maintenance. So it's sealed, it all works, and you don't have to worry about it, which is what we want for people who've got this computer.
Can work out of the box.
Exactly.
Cool.
So don't forget, you have the chance to win this entire rig, complete with its mind-bending processing power and awesome accessory bundle.
All you have to do to win this amazing prize is tell us how much you think the entire rig would cost in total if you got all the parts at a standard price. And as a tiebreaker, tell us in 50 words or less why you think you deserve it. You can enter the competition over on the site and read more about the build over at the hardware blog. Just head over to tinyurl.com/gsukpccomp to find out more. To enter, you have to be over 13 and a UK resident, and the competition is subject to our normal terms and conditions.
We'll be back again next week, where Jane and I will be attempting to boot this bad boy up for the first time, just to make sure it actually works. Remember to head over to tinyurl.com/gsukpccomp to enter the competition and to follow the blog, and log on to facebook.com/GameSpotUK to take a peek behind the scenes of the build. Till next time, happy gaming, spotters.